is Friday night, hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. This is Friday night, hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night hangout. Ooh, it's Friday night hangout. It's safe space for ideation.
Are you feeling stuck in your business, professional, or personal life? Or are you struggling to find purpose and direction? Imagine having a clear sense of direction, achieving your goals, and living a fulfilling life. Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult is here to help you. We will work with you to identify your strengths, overcome obstacles, and develop a personalized plan to achieve your dreams. With our coaching and consulting services, you will gain clarity, confidence, and the tools you need to succeed. Do not let fear, lack of clarity, or doubt hold you back any longer. Take the first step towards achieving your goals and living your best life. Contact Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult today. Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult, empowering you to reach your full potential. Call, SMS, or WhatsApp +234 704 229 1171. Or you can visit our website www.joyonyesohcoachingconsult.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Hangout. Woo! I'm excited to welcome you on to our episode 252. Yeah. Last week we talked about, capacity check. Can your current you handle your next level? And so tonight we are taking the conversation a little bit deeper. We'll be talking about price it right, from doing more to earning more. Don't forget that our theme for June is built to last, scaling without burnout. So this is that place you ought to be. Welcome once again. My name is Joy Onyesoh, and I'm your host at the Friday Night Hangout, and I'm super excited to welcome you in. This is that space where we have very topical conversation on business growth, personal development, and all of it. We give you the right strategies and tools to ensure that you're in alignment with your purpose and you are on track. Okay, so like I said earlier on, tonight we're going to be talking about pricing it right, from doing more to earning more. This is a very topical conversation. Have you ever felt you were working harder but not earning more? So you look at the volume of work you do, you're so busy, and at the end of the day, your bank account is not speaking the language that you'll understand. That's the sincere, reality. It's the reality of a lot of women, a lot of people, individuals, not just women. But tonight I want to focus this conversation. I want to center it on women entrepreneurs. So if you're a woman entrepreneur, you're welcome to this conversation. Tonight is your night. This room is your space where we're going to look at, we're just going to explore how you can do more and earn more. And very smartly also, you can do less and earn more. So we're going to look at the different scenarios and we're going to review some very smart pricing strategies. Now, the truth is, many women underprice themselves. More clients do not always mean more profits. I need us to reframe that, because oftentimes we think we need to have a lot of people for us to get more money. It depends on the sector, it depends on your pricing strategy, and it depends on your offering, right? So it's not 1 + 1 is 2, meaning that more clients will give more profit. No. So you need to know who you're here to serve. You need to know what value you bring to the table. And then you can start looking at, your pricing and all of that. Now, I also want you to know That's sustainable growth, growth that happens over a period of time, growth that is layered, that is consistent, requires intentional pricing. You're in business to make profits. You're in business to give value. So if you're not giving value and you're not making profit, then you're not in business. So that's why you're in business. So when you look at the work that you do and you have something commensurate in terms of income or profit, then you feel fulfilled, right? And fulfillment is what keeps you going on for the long term. So just know that if you want to grow sustainably, then of course you need to be intentional about your pricing. Now, you also need to know that revenue should grow alongside responsibility. So when someone comes into your organization as a team member, as the person's responsibility grows, you want to be sure that the person's income is also growing, and then you as a business, the more you keep expanding, you want to be sure that more profit is coming in. So if it's not happening that way, then you need to review your pricing, you need to review your system, you need to review a whole lot, right? You don't want to take that, you don't want to keep wearing the badge of honor. You're doing so much, you work so hard, you work, and then at the end of the day, there's nothing to show for it. That's not the story we want to hear. So while we're here, I want you to use the hashtag TGIF. You know I love to see that. Let it keep coming in. TGI, hashtag TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Also, hashtag FNH with Joy Onyesoh. Friday night hangout with Joy Onyesoh. Please use this hashtag, and we want to see this going live. Use it on your page, tag us, and all of that. And if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're wrong. So what are you waiting for? So click that like subscription button. Please do that on the YouTube channel. You could subscribe to Friday Night Hangout or the Power Woman TV. And don't forget to turn on the notification button. When you do that, you would know whenever we go live. And one good thing about being a subscriber is that you get to watch all our past episodes. And trust me when I say we have a resource hub in there. We really have a resource hub in there. Sometimes I make out time on a very good day with my notes, and I'm just listening to guests. I'm even listening to myself, reading the comments and making notes. So that's some of the things that you want to do. So make sure you subscribe and then you follow. Now, I want to share something with you. This is a personal life experience. When I started the She Speaks Summit, this was like 9 years ago. This year will make it the 9th edition. So we started in 2018 on the team Power Woman. It was valued at 10,000 naira. At the time, that was the first time I was running that kind of program, right? I was afraid to put a figure to it, but trust me, it was pretty expensive. We had, if I'm not mistaken, about 80 to 90 participants. So if you multiply it by 10,000, you will find that there is nowhere near the cost of hosting that event, from the hall we use to the international guest speakers we brought in, to the meals, to the customized souvenirs, to the workshop materials and all of that. But when I did a debrief, after the event, one thing that stood out for me was it was successful. Everyone had so much fun, and people kept talking, oh, for the prize they got, that they were so shocked what, the value they got out of it. And that validated some of my feelings that I underpriced the event. So sometimes we want to do entry price, but even when you want to do entry price, you want to make sure that you're not underpricing. You want to be sustainable in the long run. You want to keep the business running. That's one way you provide service to your clients, because you're there. You're always there providing value, that space, right? And so you don't want to underprice yourself, and when you look back, you feel sad. You lack motivation to keep moving on, and you want to start cutting corners. So you find out that some people cut corners. They underprice, then they cut corners. At the end of the day, they don't even get the kind of clients they want, because you're not giving the kind of value that would attract those clients, right? So you want to make sure that you are charging appropriately for the value delivered. And then it's even more tricky if you've been in the NGO sector, or you're involved in charity work, or you're a philanthropist, you're used to giving things free, it becomes very difficult. And that's one of the things I've seen with almost all my clients that are working in the non-for-profit sector and also running a business. So over time, they turn their business into an annex of the non-for-profit. So they don't know where to draw the line. So everything is in fact, everything is a blur. There is no line, there's no boundary. You take your business, you run it as a not-for-profit. What happens? So it becomes problematic. Of course, growth will not happen. The business will suffer, and eventually the business will shut down. And that's the disservice to yourself. So we're going to look at 4 pricing mistakes that women make when demand increases. So there is an entry level price, there is the growth price. But most times we keep our startup prices even at the growth stage. So yes, I charged 10,000 naira for the She Speaks Summit in 2018. But over the last few years, the pricing kept increasing because the growth is already happening. The value has deepened. And so even for 2026, a VIP that was 10,000 naira at VIP then was, we didn't have VIP in 2018. It was just one fee. And then we introduced VIP after 2 years, I think. And so right now, VIP is 150 and regular is 80,000. But even at that, right, you will still find out that the value, you can't come to the She Speaks Summit and without attesting to the value in terms of content, the ambience, and the networking that happens there. So you want to make sure that your startup prices stay at the startup level, and when growth happens, you want to review and then make sure that your pricing matches the value that you're bringing to the table. Now, you want to charge based on, so most of us now, we charge based on effort instead of value. So if you feel that, okay, I'm not putting too much effort into making this, meanwhile, the value content is so high, you charge it carelessly. And then somebody says, oh, I'm putting too much effort, it takes me a whole lot of time to do this, so the pricing may be so high. But when you look at the value and the pricing, my dear, I'm not going to pay, even you, if someone else is offering that kind of value at that price, you're not going to touch it, right? But because it's you and you feel that the effort is what should drive your value system. So tonight we're going to look at, how we're going to, what are some of the very simple ways of pricing your product or your services. Now, another thing that drives pricing, we're talking about the 4 pricing mistakes women make, right? Another mistake is that women are afraid of losing clients. So they would stay at a particular price level, even when it's obvious. Everyone living in our client knows that things have gone way out. See, you go to the market with 100K, you'll be wondering, where did the money go to, right? So things are much more expensive than they were last year. And you will not expect to keep the price the same way it was last year with this year. There has to be some shift. So it's either you're making alternatives that is absorbing the extra cost or something else. So don't be afraid to lose clients. When you get clients who understand and who are connected to your business, don't forget that your business exists primarily to provide solutions and then to make profit from providing those solutions. So if you are aware of the solution you're providing, then you shouldn't be afraid of losing clients. Knowing that you're meant to serve some people, not everyone. So when you know you're meant to serve some people and you're bringing value to them, you won't be afraid of losing them and, make a lot of mistakes in pricing. Another thing I've seen, is most of us as well, we're afraid to have conversations around pricing, finance. So sometimes you ask somebody, the person would, okay, how much is it for this services? The person would dodge the issue and go round and round and say, okay, I'll get back to you. And you will be the person, so how much is it? I want to make an informed decision to know if it makes sense to move forward on the conversation. So you're not upfront with your pricing, you're not upfront with your cost. We go on having a lot of conversation. At the end of the day, I'm not willing to pay that price. But you spent your time, you spent effort, and then you did convert me. So that's one of the pricing mistakes we make as women, avoiding pricing conversation. You need to get familiar, you need to get comfortable having those kind of conversations. I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to negotiate. Okay, at what price will it make sense to you, depending on what kind of sector you're in, right? And then you need to know your minimum. At what price is it that you wouldn't go below? At this price, it doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make business sense, right? So you need to know that. And these are some of the 4 key things that I think women make mistakes in, especially women in business. And I said when we started off that more work does not translate into more income. No, it doesn't. You could be doing a whole lot of work, but when you don't have solid revenue plugs, you'll be having leakages. You find that you're spending so much money on things you shouldn't spend money on. I know it was, I think last year or last 2 years, one of my primary goals was to reduce expenditure. So we got very concerned on how money leaks, how it comes out, how we do procurement, and you'll be shocked at the amount of money you can save when you plug up your leakages. So you need to know that you don't need to do so much work to get a whole lot of income, but you need to plug your revenue leaks. That's one good thing. If you want to have more income, work on plugging your revenue leaks. Where is money leaking? You plug that pocket. So you need to be on top of the game. Now, another thing, structure is not defined. When it's not structured, then you have a problem. So look at how your pricing is. If you have 250 mil and you have 500 mil, what is the pricing structure? What would it make sense to do? You need to consider all of this when you are putting your pricing in place, especially for people that have multiple products or multiple services. Now, sometimes we suffer from burnout because we are undercharging. So you're working so hard, you're pouring all, and it's not translated into anything meaningful. You get burnt out. You want to enjoy the journey, right? You want to enjoy whatever it is you're doing. And one way of enjoying it is that you're getting the pay. Even when you're working in an organization, there's an amount of money they'll be paying you, and you're looking at the work and the environment, and you tell yourself it's not worth it. So you want to make sure that you don't burn yourself out from underpricing. So please, when you're underpriced, you can't afford some things. You won't be able to afford to pay staff. You may be able to do most things. You want to do everything yourself. And trust me, woman, you'll burn out. You really burn out. Now, you want to also focus on capacity versus profitability. Your capacity is the ability, the skills, the energy you have to carry something out. And that determines how profitable you are. So you need to be very sincere with yourself. There are two things really that you require in running a business. One is the technical skill set. Another one is the managerial skill set. So you need to be sure that even when you have the technical skill, you have the managerial skill, or you employ someone who has the managerial skill to enable you to do a number of things, especially when it comes to area of, assessing your profitability, assessing the capacity that's in that organization. So you want to be able to do all of that. Even when you do your risk assessment, some of these issues will come out. So if you're running a business and you've not been able to assess your profitability, you don't know how much profit margin you make per product, then you want to do everything. And that's why this conversation tonight is happening. Now, when we come back from this short break, we're going to look at a simple exercise on how you can reprice. So we're going to look at a very simple repricing exercise. Then we'll have to assess maybe your values, your time invested, your risk end. And I'm going to walk you through a very simple pricing review exercise. So don't go anywhere. You want to stay with me on this. So stay right here and I'll be back with you shortly.
I'm Dr. Helena More. I'm MD of Scientia Partners Innovation Hub in Lagos.
My name is Nena Emmanuel Awosu. I am the founder and the CEO of 2K Shop, a retail e-commerce company here in Nigeria.
My name is Ifeyinwa Amamilo and I'm from Abuja.
My name is Chinelo Enukora. I came all the way from Oka.
Don't procrastinate, move. Create networks that work. Attend trainings that will help me build capacity for the future. Ensure I'm able to identify my mentors and my sponsors. I came to this event from Lagos. I've been attending She Speaks
since 2018. So this is my 8th edition of She Speaks in Enugu. This experience has been very amazing, very empowering, very enlightening. As a speaker, I gave out and I also was replenished from what I heard from other speakers.
It has been awesome, spirit-filled, and a lot of awesome insights to take home with. My key takeaway is going back home to put into work what I've learned. Not just learning, but implementing. That is where the magic starts from.
As a participant, I have received a lot from the convener, Professor Joy Onyesoh, from the other speakers, Dr. Ifoma and Miss Nena of 2K Shop, and it has been a wonderful experience. This is the best female-only summit I have been to in my life.
I invite you to She Speaks 2026.
Don't miss She Speaks Summit 2026, happening here in Enugu, 25th to 27th of June 2026. You'll be blessed, you'll be empowered, and you will eat belly food. I want to use this opportunity to invite you for 2026 She Speaks. Don't miss it. It's going to be bigger, better, with plenty of activities to give you real solutions. She Speaks is not a fancy party. It's where we come to sort ourselves out as women. So don't miss the 2026 edition. Join us to be one of those women who would unlock opportunities. See you in 2026 She Speaks.
Don't snooze. You are invited for She Speaks 2026.
Hello and welcome back to Friday Night Hangout. That's the She Speaks Summit 2026. This was what I was speaking about much earlier when I said in 2018, we started with a pricing of 10,000 Naira and we have grown in value. You listened to the ads and you said what the speakers and the participants, the good news they had to share about She Speaks. And so if the value is still top notch, and even when you look at the pricing structure now, it's still nothing compared to how much value we give. But then we're not undercharging and we're not underpricing, right? So you will come in, you will feel comfortable and you'll be grateful with the amount of money you paid, knowing that you were not overcharged, that you paid just the right price. And that's what we're talking about. So if you haven't registered for the She Speaks Summit 2026, this is a call to you. Please do register. We're going to have an interesting time. And this year is our bridge year. This is the year just before we get into the 10th anniversary, the 10th edition, and we're going to make it big because that's 10, that's a lot, right? Okay, so remember I promised us that once we come back, we're going to do a very quick exercise just before we wrap up, and we're going to do a simple pricing review exercise. We're going to use the 3Q price test. Very simple review that you can just keep doing every 3 to 6 months in your business. You just use the 3Q price test to check out your pricing system to see if you are on track. Now we're going to do the first test, which is the value test. What changed? So list 3 things your product or services does better now versus when you set the price. So for instance, it could be that you have faster delivery, you now have more experience, you get better results, you have added bonuses. So these things are value you're adding, right? So if you have a list that is greater than 0, then your price should have gone up. So the more value you bring, then you need to keep adding a little bit, So your value should have gone up than when you started because you're putting more things and it takes more energy, it takes more finance to put some of these things on the table. So you need to add a little bit more. And trust me, clients are willing to pay for a little bit more when they are sure of the kind of value they get. That's the Q1, the value test. Now the Q2 is the demand test. Now, are people saying no to your price or yes to everything? Check the last 10 sales conversation you've had. So if 8 out of 10 says yes, I want it, then hesitate at the price. So you will have, if they say, oh yes, I want it, but the price is somehow, oh, quickly, you know that you have demand. So 8 out of 10, they're saying yes. They're not hesitating because your pricing is good. And then sometimes they will ask you, say, oh, they're wondering about the quality, because how can you be giving this kind of pricing for that kind of quality, right? So you want that to tell that your pricing is low. Now, if 8 out of 10 say, not for me right now, your price or your offer is wrong. If out of 10 conversations you've had or inquiries you've had, 8 will say, oh, this is good, but not for me right now, then either the offer or the pricing is wrong. You want to review. So what you will do is you want to look at the number of price objections you've had versus how many people have come into your pipeline, how many people have come into, maybe made inquiries. As a business, you want to keep all those kind of records, it's because this is data. This is what feeds the decision you make. You don't just wake up and increase price. You don't just wake up and reduce price. It needs to be based on something substantive, right? You need to test the market, and this is what helps you do that, looking at how your sales conversation has gone, the number of sales you've made, the number of demands coming in, and all of that, because demand is what drives supply, and demand should also push your price up, where needed. So you don't just sit down and say, oh, things are very expensive, but I increase. Meanwhile, you've not made a single sale in the last 6 months. It doesn't make sense. Now, the third Q3 is the comparison test. Where do I sit? Write 3 competitors and their prices. Put yours in the middle. So you need to know your competitors, right? What do they do? Of course, they must be doing something similar as you are. And then what are their pricing? So if you're the cheapest and you get best results, then you're undercharging. Now, not just from what your clients say, because sometimes clients can come and say, oh, but I can get it there cheaper, but they can't get it there cheaper. But you need to do your own market research. So if you know that you're getting the best result and your prices are the cheapest, then you are undercharging. So the one rule you should know is that you should never be the cheapest if you're also the best. So that's it's not a strategy. You're the best, you're bringing very good results, and then you want to be the cheapest. It doesn't make sense, right? So if you score it and you have 0 yes, keep your price and fix your offer, your marketing. So you're not getting any demand. So you put out things, you state no marketing, no sales, no nothing. Then you don't need to talk about pricing issue now. You need to look at your offer. Look at your offer, then work on your marketing. And after then, we just start looking at fixing the price. So if your price is good, your price is at par with others, and you're still not getting anything, look at the offer. Because sometimes you're not selling the product, you're not giving people the solution you provide. You're just talking about things randomly, and you're not pinpointing what is it that will make me buy this product from you. If you have ABC, what is that thing that differentiates your product, that makes it valuable to me as your customer, as your client? And that is what connects me to your product. So you should be able to say, oh, by the time you attend the She Speaks Summit, you'll be able to work out one with a better idea of who you are, a heightened awareness of yourself. And when you're clear as to who you are, then you now know how to make decisions that align with who you are. Secondly, you walk away with a framework. So we give you a tool that can help you making effective decisions and not just emotional decisions. 3, we have a business clinic where you come in and we have that frank financial conversations. You know whether you have money problems, you understand how disciplined you are and your mindset about money and how to grow your money. You're very intentional. So there are a number of benefits from coming to the She Speaks Summit. You're not just selling, oh, the environment is good. Yes, but beyond that, what's the content, right? Now, this is very key, because you want to have a pricing system that keeps you motivated, that ensures you're not burnt out, and this is something you want to really, really focus on. You also want to look at the value you're bringing, the time you're investing, the risk that is carried. Every business has an element of risk. So if you're not doing a risk assessment, you need to do a risk assessment. The higher the risk, the more expensive your pricing is. So you need to look at that as well, depending on the sector you are in. Now, the price increase conversation is very important. When people come in and they say, but this is how do you speak to them in a manner that resonates with them? When they're all living in Nigeria, and some people might try to live in denial, they know what it is, right? But you would have to speak to them in a manner that makes sense without getting agitated or angry, and let them know that to continue delivering these quality results and to support you, I need to adjust my price a little bit, effective from so date. Don't just start, increasing your price without giving notice, without letting them know. Give them notice, let them know. To people who want to do bulk buying even before then, they can. It's also a strategy, right? To shoot up your sales in that period, and you get, bulk money you could use to do what you want to do. So you also want to thank them and appreciate them for their trust, and you look forward to serving them at an even higher level. And that's very good. It's professional, and they will love and appreciate that you're able to do this in a very professional way. Now I want you to think about this. What service, product, or skill do you think you may currently be underpricing? I want you to think about this. And this is where, remember I said, when you come into the Friday night hangout, that's one of the value we give you. You must go away with a nugget or two, something you can implement in the now, right? So what service, product, or skill do you think you may be currently underpricing? Put it in the comment section. We want to read from you. Thank you. Don't forget to use a hashtag TGIF, hashtag FNH with Joy Onyesoh. So do this and you will thank me later. I look forward to reading your comments. Keep it coming in. Keep it coming in. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. So we continue this conversation next week where we'll be talking about team without chaos. How do you delegate without dumping? There's a difference between dumping and delegating, right? So when you dump, you create chaos in your team. When you delegate, you create an effective team. So I want you to stay focused. Remember how to communicate your price increase, how to communicate the value that you have, and know that growth requires profitable systems. If you don't have a profitable system, it's difficult to grow sustainably. Now, sustainable businesses do not survive on hustle mode. Sustainable businesses are businesses that thrive. So you want to get your business to that level. Now, confidence and clarity improve revenue. You want to make sure that you have that going on for you right now. So remember my challenge for you this week. Review one offer or service before next week, Friday, when we meet again. And don't forget to apply the 3Q pricing test, where you look at the value, the time, the demand, and all of that, including your risk factor. Now identify one pricing improvement opportunity for your business. I encourage you to watch this again. If you're just coming in now, no problem, watch the replay. And please, before you pursue your next opportunity, assess your capacity, identify your biggest gap, create one action step to strengthen it. As always, I love and appreciate you. Thank you for being loyal FNH community. And don't forget to join us next week for Teams Without Chaos, Delegate, Don't Dump. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe JOCC on all platforms, and to share our replay. Subscribe to Power Woman TV and the Friday Night Hangout YouTube channel. Invite someone next week, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday, same time. From now, from myself and my team, it's bye for now. Remember to smell the roses, and don't forget to do your assignment. I'll see you next week, Friday. Bye for now. Hello, I am Professor Joy Onyesoh, the convener of She Speaks Summit and your Clarity Coach. I am delighted to invite you to the She Speaks Summit 2026, happening from 25th to 27th June 2026 here in Enugu, Coast City, Nigeria. This year, we bring you a powerful experience designed to help you gain clarity, build capacity, and achieve excellence in your life and work. As a VIP, you will access our Leadership Mastery Workshop under the Coach Elevate program with certification opportunities, exclusive coaching, and premium networking. As a regular participant, you will gain full access to the summit sessions, business and financial growth series, clarity and communication sessions, as well as our pitch and connect, including the gala night. And as for students, this is a unique opportunity to learn, connect, and grow within a powerful, dynamic community of women who are building and leading. Now, She Speaks Summit is more than an event. It is a strategic investment in your growth and future. I look forward to welcoming you. Use the link below to register, and I'm super excited at the opportunities you would be unlocking. See you at the She Speaks Summit 2026.
This is Friday.